Hello. Thank you for tuning into Glue Factory. Please, if you're watching this, listening to this, wherever, please give it a 5-star review on the podcast apps. Like, comment on it on YouTube. This is the bullshit that I never thought I would have to say, and then here I am. Yeah, this is where we are.
The world has changed.
Milo Beast.
Yeah, that's me. That's me. I am. Mr. Beast was my father. Please call me Jeremy Beast. Yeah, we also have a Patreon. Please sign up to the Patreon. There will be twice as much. You'll get the second part of this episode, where we talk about Jimmy Carr's cloaca.
We do.
So yeah. If you want that,
If you want to know what that's about,
yeah, and go and see Gianmarco on tour. Not that he needs the help, but
why not?
Please. I mean, I'm coming back July 11th.
yeah,
There
great.
you go.
He's doing all
Yeah.
the nudist places.
Yeah.
Yeah. He will be fully
July
nude.
11th.
What's
July
the
11th.
Chapel.
Union Chapel.
Yeah.
Union Chapel.
Union
July
Chapel.
There's
11th.
still tickets. Yeah.
A place of God. So yeah, come and see that. Cheers. Enjoy the app.
Someone in the US was making an argument for like smaller housing, and they were saying like, look, and they were getting loads of shit for it in this article. They were like, what if we all just learned to be happy with this amount of square feet, and that was it, and then everyone could have a house. And people were like, how could you even have a fucking life like that? You know, it's ridiculous, like a dog kennel, and it was larger than the average new British home.
Sure.
By about 20 square feet. Have you seen the video of all the Chinese Jamaicans? The big Chinese
No, I haven't
population in
seen that
Jamaica,
one.
and they've got like, they speak patois. It's great.
Chinese Hanks.
Yeah.
Incredible.
It's great. Like there's a whole subgenre of YouTube and Instagram videos of just like people with accents you would not expect.
Yeah,
That is so addictive once you go down the rabbit hole, where you just go, oh, this guy grew up here, and now this has happened.
It's one of the. It's like for American comedians, I just think we have it so much easier when it comes to international travel, just because our media is so consumed.
Yes.
So even if our jokes don't necessarily play into the inherent local whatevers, it still feeds off of what other people understand of ours.
I am jealous of that because you
yeah.
could go to rural Sweden and make a joke about prom.
Yeah.
And they would go, yeah, we don't have it, but we know what you mean.
And I'll get
the
jokes
big
from-
dance. Yes,
Here's
from
the
TV.
prettiest
Yeah.
girl at school. We put her into the big wicker man and then we burn it.
The cheerleaders, yes, we understand.
And if I came back to America and I had a great Eurovision chunk, I'd have to be like, all right, so here's what it is, and it here's what it's done, and it's so complicated.
You'd have to be like, I'm saving that bit for presumably, I guess, gay bars in New York, right?
Yeah, sure.
Then that will work.
But even that, I don't even know what Eurovision. It has niche. Is it gay bars? Is it? There's also some nerds that like it. I don't know. It's spread out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even
It's crazy how
explaining
much-
what Eurovision is a routine in itself. It's insane.
I mean,
It
I barely
doesn't make
understand
any
it my own.
sense.
I've just seen a couple songs, and I saw the
Yeah.
one Espresso is the one.
But the
that was
importance
here,
of
and
it.
I was like, this guy is a professional singer.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy.
They've got some sort of rule where you can't go on if you've had an album deal or they don't let.
Oh, I
'cause
see.
otherwise
How did
every year
Engelbert
the UK
Humperdinck
would just be
get
like,
through?
well,
How did you
the
use
Beatles
That
again.
doesn't mean we got to start here. I mean, this. I watched it. It was fun, but I was like, oh, I could do that.
Yeah.
And normally, you want to see a singer that you go, well,
I can't do that.
I can't
Well,
do
the
that.
thing is that no good musicians will agree to do it because it's
Yes.
considered to be career death.
Yeah.
So it's always kind of weird, nightclub singers and stuff that basically end up doing it. Like people who their career's not going anywhere and they're like, maybe I'll become a meme if I do.
Has anyone ever? ABBA came out of it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
but
was
that was
early,
before
though.
it became, because there was a time when there were hardly any countries were in it, and it
I
was a
see.
bit more. It
It's
was
like
a bit
8
more.
countries, yeah.
Yeah, it
There
was a
weren't
bit more
different
like
types of
manicured.
media.
Yeah.
You know, it was
Yeah.
TV or you weren't famous.
I would
Yeah.
love to have an internet. I think there needs to be more stand-up comedy competitions. Obviously, all competitions,
Yeah.
you go, oh, this bullshit. It's based on this, based on that. But I really do think competition is healthy.
Yeah.
I think it can do, it can cleanse the art form a little bit, and or it creates it gets rid of the shit.
Yes.
Because there'll be right now, I'm sure it's here. People with big TikTok followers, whatever, they go oh well, they're shit comedians live, but they're selling out on the road.
Yes.
And I'm like, well, then you need a space where they can be publicly put in their place, and
I feel
vice
like you were
versa.
going to use the word humiliated, and then you were like, no.
And vice versa, where someone goes to watch the show to see them compete, and ultimately goes, oh my God, this other person was really good. Oh, that's what good live is.
You could get one series out of that before the TikTok people got onto it, and they were like, "Okay, we shouldn't agree to go on this anymore."
Oh, they
Sure,
found
but-
it so quick.
But then you create a system of oh, you're gonna go see them. They were too scared to even do this. You add fear. Oh, you're too scared to do it.
I do like this idea.
But you need that. I mean, listen, it'll come, it'll go. But I really think like you need some of that in comedy right now.
So what you're saying is that Matt Rife should have to do the amused moose laugh off.
Basically.
90 seconds in front of Hills Jago.
I would
Go on,
love
Matt.
that.
So you think you're funny with Matt, right?
Oh God, yeah.
That's
too good.
I think that's good. Because at the moment, if you're big on TikTok and they sell out, I do think they stop selling out if they don't get good. But they can make the money of 2 years worth of sold out
Yeah,
tours.
but the new people will come. It's like they'll have another audience. Like if that audience sells out,
Eventually,
there'll be
though.
another.
Well, these Kill Tony ones. That's what I'm curious. There was a guy. There was a Kill Tony guy, I guess, going on before me yesterday, and I think it's great. I know that
This is in the UK.
Yeah, he was touring the UK, and I'm like, I guess he's taking his minute internationally, and
Priced accordingly.
and I mean, I was told that he brought like 9 other openers, which that's I remember like T.I., the singer, was headlining, and he goes with 8 other people, like that's how they do this.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he gives them all, $50, and he makes most of the doors still.
He splits the minute into 9 and then does in between.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, in between.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to come back with a punchline in 5 minutes.
Okay, cool.
But I was curious. I would never do it, but I want to go to sit with the audience to be like, are they going, oh, never again? I'll never do this again? Or is that all they wanted, is just to see the guy and they got their money's worth?
I did hear about a guy a social media guy who did the thing of he hired a club and put on a show and it sold out, and then the next month it was half full, and then the next month it was pretty much empty.
Sure.
So that does happen. That people do just go, oh, it's not really like on my phone when I'm shitting.
It's like a parable.
Yeah.
He needs an audience of entirely toilets, so everyone can be shitting while they watch the show.
That's actually very funny. I'd love to have a show
Where every seat was a toilet.
Every seat was a toilet.
Yeah.
It'd be like performance art.
Mm.
You'd get a grant from the government for that.
Look at my haircut.
As long as you said it wasn't. As long as you said it wasn't comedy.
Yeah.
They'd give you a grant.
Do you think about like back in the, I went to this yoga place here, and you tell me, because every time something new happens in the UK, I'm like, is that everywhere, or is that just here? I took a yoga class, and instead of individual showers, it was all one big shower. And I ended up showering with these.
Yoga's like prison here. Yeah.
Yeah. but I mean, yoga.
Flexible Dave. Oh yeah. Don't turn your back on him.
But I've never showered with 3 grown men in my whole life.
Well, you haven't lived.
It's relatively unusual, I would say.
Okay.
Yeah,
Most gyms are cubicle showers, but this. But I used to the like sort of council run gym near where I used to live that was open.
Unless you're like a rugby club.
But that's open is. I tell my friends all the time.
And that's deliberate at that point.
Yeah,
rugby club.
Let's tear these walls down.
Like, let me ask this: have you seen each other's penises?
No.
No.
There's still time.
But I told my friend it's crazy. I saw these 3 guys' penises I've never seen my best mates. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
But like think back in the day, like ancient Rome, I feel like when you see them, I mean ancient Rome, whatever, but it's like they shat, sitting next to each other.
Yes, yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know what I'd rather do: shit next to my friend or shower with them. Shower.
Yeah.
I've such an aversion to anyone shitting.
Really?
Yeah, I don't like.
Yeah, showers smell nice.
Showers.
We're gonna have to cancel the tour we booked for Ed, where every seat
I
is a
don't know to be
toilet.
too edgy here when poo smells like shit.
It does.
And it smells real
That
bad.
is true. That is true.
Yeah.
These are the hard hitting
Showers.
truths.
Yeah, shower smells like watermelon. When I use my watermelon rub. It's nice. Nice stuff.
Yeah.
I just we created all these divisions, whether it be like the bathrooms with gender, or whether it be the stalls, and it's like it's hard to conceive of it being any other way than we were raised, but clearly it can be, and it's created so many problems.
Do you think the Romans?
If we all just would shit, and there was just holes, and we all just sat and shit, we'd probably be over it. We probably would. If I saw guys shower all the time, we all showered all the time, we wouldn't all be. I mean, at least in America, we're all so neurotic about our dick size. It's like if we all just saw each other's dicks all the time.
But
it'd be fine.
We live in a society. It can't be like this. Like my friend, at university, he used to just leave his plates in his room. And then he was like, I was like, that's disgusting. He's like, but after a while, it just all blends. It just becomes your environment. Do you know what I mean? And then it's like, oh, then you can do the same thing
Who
with
is that?
cum. You
Who's
can put
that?
you can just cum everywhere, and then that becomes. And then if we all just came on the floor of our own houses, then we just will be fine with cum everywhere.
Well, did you know that before the 1918 flu, spitting on the floor used to be, you do it at the bar all the time. And then because of, and who knows if it actually spread the flu or that was like the, superstition or whatever.
Or if it existed.
Yeah, but now it's no longer a thing.
Yeah.
And I always think about like what changed because of COVID that we'll look back and be like, oh, we used to do this more.
I reckon there were those guys in 1919 who like can't even spit on the floor of the bar anymore because of woke.
They were, and they did cartoons about them in the newspaper.
Really?
Yeah, I've seen the cartoons where it's like, they had a running cartoon series in the US. I think it's Chicago Tribune or something, where it was like I don't know, not this, but like Dickhead Dave always spit, like breaking all the rules, and he'd be like the foil. And the hero of the comic was this like grouchy old guy in a bowler hat who's just constantly like hitting people with his cane when they were like wouldn't wear a mask and would spit on. It's exactly the same as COVID.
Where was this, Pierre? In this country?
No, in the US.
In the US, okay, fine.
In the US, but the UK had it certainly. South Africa had it for like TB. They'd say spitting spreads tuberculosis, so no spitting, and that wiped out spitting as a habit. So the same thing, like public health. Yeah,
But I do wonder how much pushback there was, or whether people back then were like, you know what, for the good of everybody.
It probably just took 5 years of people getting hassled, and then it died out. But there's
at
countries
least we
where
can
they
still
never
come on the fucking floor. They're not taking that away.
But the doing no cum cartoons. They goes, no, don't cum on the floor. Don't pee in the corner.
Bad.
Yeah,
Seasoning the floor like a wok.
But there's
just like years of patina of dried cum, like hard lacquer.
YouTube tutorial. How to get that floor nice and shiny.
It's really good for the wood, actually. Keeps it supple, yet sort of waterproof.
You hear that? Like the kind of like a varnish, like a connoisseur, one of those craftsmen. That's decades of cum.
It needs a little more.
But there's countries where they have no taboo against like hawking a massive fucking loogie right over people's heads into a bin next to, like on the floor. Like
I'm a little piggish. Like my dad, he had like a horse, and so sometimes you go to like the barn area, and like obviously there's horse shit everywhere, so it's loose. So like he would do snot rockets. He just like cleared his nose, and I do it. Yeah. And I know, I worry. I'm a little bit more, I'm not very well mannered in America. And so I worry here. I'm like, it's probably like horrifying.
Yeah, you're like on a list now for stuff that you've done. Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm of that mindset where people go like, well, we live in a society. And part of me is like, I know, but what if we didn't?
Yeah. Do you think that England's like everyone's got bowler hats and everyone's like, which way to Hogwarts or something?
No, I just get this sense of like being like a little bit more of a nuisance than people here. I ran on the train for the first time. I was just last minute. I couldn't.
Wait, the train or the tube?
The tube. Forgive me.
The tube. Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
And I kind of burst in. I'm like, does this train go to ba ba ba? And in New York, that is very typical. It just felt this thing of like, whoa, buddy.
Oh yeah, man.
Whoa. And everyone's like looking at me, and I push. It's pushiness.
So what will happen is that everyone will be helpful to you, but then after that's happened, the person that's helpful to you will look at everyone else in the carriage when you're looking, and then we'll all look at the same look, which is like, fucking hell. Do you know what I mean? Like you'll feel nice in that, but we'll all be thinking, execute
it's
this
the
man.
only time when it's permissible to make eye contact on British public transport is if someone else is breaking the rules.
Yeah.
And then you can do the like.
But only if they're breaking the rules in a non-mentally ill way.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The more mentally ill they are breaking the rules, the more on the floor your eyes should stay. Then you can't look at each other because you'd be going, this guy's unwell. That also feels wrong. So you just stare at the floor and wait for the screaming to sort of slowly fade as they leave.
One guy came into the tube once and he just sat on the floor.
Yeah.
And the atmosphere in that train was absolutely crazy. People were just like, well, he's just sitting on the floor, just stand up. He was only on for a stop. Sat on the floor, just absolutely, it's just absolutely. I couldn't understand what was so wrong about it. But I just
by the way, your floor here compared to the subway floor in New York, I'd eat food off your guys' floor.
Yeah. Oh yeah, okay.
Well, no one
you have
shat
no
on
idea.
We are surprised by the level of filth on the New York subway.
I've never been in the New York subway. What's it like?
Oh,
it looks like a Batman scene.
Yeah, it really does. Yeah.
It's in many of them.
In Batman where you go like, God, the subway's not like that. It is like that.
Giant rats and I mean, is your guys 24/7?
Some bits of it, yeah.
Ours, all of it's 24/7.
Really?
Forever.
Crazy.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one thing that people always will say in defense of the New York City subway. They say it's always open though.
Yeah.
but it's like it can be scary. I mean, there's obviously we have a lot of homeless people who they sleep there. I mean, rather than kind of address the homeless problem, they just got rid of all the benches, so there's nowhere to sit, and it's it's pretty bad. It's pretty bleak, and the trains break down all the time. I took even the train from Cardiff to here.
Yes, yeah.
And it was like something like the train was late, and they were like, report it. You can get half your ticket back or something. And I was like,
if it's late
that's
enough.
crazy. That's crazy. That doesn't happen in America in any aspect. Or like, then you hear Japan. If it's late, they give you a ticket to show your boss. I mean, you couldn't do that in New York. You wouldn't have paper.
The guy driving the train has to just kill himself.
He has to jump in front of the next train, which causes a knock-on effect.
Big samurai sword in front of that train.
Slice
himself open with.
But it's crazy to me as well that like the trains as well as the subway in New York, they're every like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Whereas, I mean, here Londoners will be like, "Fuck's sake!" When it's like 4 minutes till the next train.
Sure.
They'd just be furious.
It's one of those things. It's hard to know. Like I visit and I travel so much, and I go places like this, and I'm like, it's better here. And then I did was talking about going to Nashville and how he loves Nashville. And I'm like, you love Nashville? I don't ever need to go to Nashville again. You're flying internationally, go to Nashville?
Wait, what's Nashville like?
It's just
very
it's country
kitschy.
music. It's guitars everywhere.
He loves wearing the hat. I've seen him wear the hat before. He likes the
country
hat.
music.
Yeah, he likes it.
I remember seeing it was an international. It was a Holocaust movie, and it was dark, and it was not in English, but it was like
It kind of needs to be dark in a way.
Yeah. It wasn't one of those light.
It was a lighthearted. Yeah, no, it's just like
kind of a farce. Shower's not working.
Yeah.
But I always remember they were like, there's a group of Jews and they're escaping in the sewer, and it's so everyone's crying. This woman's having this breakdown, and then she smiles, and her teeth are perfect.
Yeah.
And you're like, maybe that was the experiment the Nazis were running, and they really knocked that one out of the park. But like, it was like
Invisalign was like an Operation Paperclip thing. Like there was a guy, like he's done some bad stuff over there, but he's great at teeth.
He's
They
good
put
at two
fluoride
things.
in the gas.
Getting people to the moon and making them look great when they get there.
they turn on laughing gas to put in the video. But it was,
That does ruin it.
Yeah, I just couldn't help but. I mean, it's always with movies. I think if you ever take a moment to think about like how everyone's kind of hot, you're like, this is not the world.
Yeah.
I really like movies where you feel like, oh, it's more real.
They're not just British films. Like British actors in a British film do not look attractive.
Well, that's what I always get. This is every British film I see. All the actors have Holocaust teeth. And I go, well, that doesn't make sense either. This is a farce.
This person is playing the king.
I think part of the problem with watching British-made films with British actors in, where it'd be like the British Film Board or whatever will come up who funded it, and you go, okay, Jim Broadbent's in this then. For us, it almost looks like CCTV footage.
Yeah.
Because it's like, well, but I live there. This is what it looks like. There's no magic to this. Whereas when we watch stuff from America, it has a sheen to it of unreality, where you just go, imagine having a car that wide. That's insane.
Imagine everyone in your school looking like they were 35. Imagine
a lot of high school seniors with fucking 5 o'clock.
But you have a lot of great TV right now. I mean,
we have good TV.
Slow Horses.
Yeah.
I have one of my good friends on Slow Horses. We went to acting training together. Chris Chung.
Yeah.
And then you have that. What's everyone? Adolescence.
Yes.
That's what everyone loves.
A real romp.
Yeah.
I need to watch it. It's everyone raves that it's all single shot.
Yes.
But I watch every TV episode like in 20 parts.
So
for me, the magic is lost.
Yeah. They're all cuts.
I'm like, end cut. I'm calling it.
Yeah. Oh, it cut when I went to piss for a second.
Adolescence is the best example of what you were just describing, where you were just like, this is just like dash cam footage of Britain.
Actually.
It's
also another example of something that is very popular in the UK, but also globally now, which is Stephen Graham having a bad time.
Oh, yeah.
Stephen Graham just emotions in life.
Yeah. So Stephen Graham, did you see what's the restaurant one that was one shot that established
Boiling Point?
Boiling Point, you watched that?
No, I haven't seen it.
He's in Gangs of New York as well.
Gangs of New York, he is.
So get this, he's a chef, but he's having a really stressful day. And he's in the kitchen, and guess what? He's yelling.
And it all goes wrong.
Have you seen a program like this before, where it's like a chef, but like it's hectic,
and
they're screaming at people? It's a bit of a new genre. You might not have come across it before.
But so Stephen Graham is a Scouse actor whose job in life is to play characters who are having the worst day of their fucking life.
That sounds amazing.
That's fun. He's incredible at it, but
Yeah,
it's such
yeah,
a funny subgenre, and I just would love to watch a film where something goes well for him.
Do you reckon he's method?
Yes! Let's fucking get him, lads!
When his acting's
Finally.
really bad, though, he's like,
Yeah.
yeah.
It still comes
Perfect
across
day.
like a bad day. And
Yeah.
you go, oh, that's
Yeah.
the one thing he can do.
He smiles.
I've won the fucking lottery. He's like, just having the worst day of his life.
He sees the implications of it before it's happened. He's like,
That's true. Yeah,
I'm
he's
going
like
to lose all my
Cassandra.
friends. I don't know who my real friends are. Immediately,
I'm
straight
going
into
to
a panic
alienate my whole
attack.
family with this lottery win. Yeah, maybe that's true.
Yeah, he could do the Michael Carroll biopic. Yeah. There was a guy who won the lottery in like 2002 in the UK, and he was known as
How much did he win?
like 5 mil, I think.
No, I thought it was
much.
more than that.
I mean, 2002, that was a lot of money.
Okay, maybe
Yeah.
2002. Sure.
Well, and he was known as like the lottery lout because he like bought a mansion. He was a bin man. He bought a mansion and he immediately starts like having dirt bike races with his friends like around the grounds of the mansion. Like it's like full like parody. Like he's wearing like as much jewelry as like Kanye West.
It's like a UK chav kind of King Ralph crossover thing that happened.
Yeah. And then eventually he just, and there were constant complaints about him in the press from the neighbors because he's living next to all these rich people doing all this insane like jackass style shit every day.
Yeah.
And then eventually he spent all of the money and then he just went back to being a bin man.
He also got
And he was like, that was fun.
yeah.
I
I
actually
remember
love that.
Yeah.
I
It's
love
kind
that
of
so
cool
much.
in a
Yeah,
way.
I love that to blow it in
but
like
he
a
got
year.
robbed by a bunch of organized gangsters and stuff because they were like, well, we know where you live and we know you've bought 11 Rolexes, you fucking idiot. So it just came and
But he'd be
stole
like,
stuff.
yeah.
But so, like,
Great.
have you seen him? Has he picked up your garbage? Like, is he around?
Yeah, he's still around.
Yeah,
he's
he's
alive
in the north.
somewhere.
He's not dead, miraculously.
He should be
Because
dead.
you know he was doing a lot of cocaine. Like,
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
no
yeah,
chance
yeah,
that
yeah,
he was not.
And you really believe that, like, is he really good?
I think he
He's-
wishes he still had the money.
I think you would.
I imagine
Yeah.
so.
Yeah,
don't
day
know.
2 of being a bin man would be tough.
You'd be like
The novelty
Yeah.
wears off after day 1.
saying hi to
Especially
Greg
when you've
again.
been doing it
Hi,
your whole
Greg,
life.
I'm back.
Because also the glee of your colleagues at you
Yeah.
returning to the bin lorry.
Honestly, I think it's one of the best arguments against like people having concentrated wealth. You know, I deeply believe there should be like a cap on how much money you can have. And I think the best argument though is like we don't know how to enjoy it.
Yeah.
We can't.
Yeah.
I saw a really funny thing along those lines where someone in the US was making an argument for like smaller housing. right?
Uh-huh.
And they were saying like, look, and they were getting loads of shit for it in this article.
Sure.
They were like, what if we all just learned to be happy with this amount of square feet? And that was it. And then everyone could have a house. And people were going like, how could you even have a fucking life like that? You know, it's ridiculous. It's like a dog kennel. And it was larger than the average new British home.
Yeah. Sure.
By about
Yeah.
20 square feet. And I went, oh, it's depressing. That's depressing for everyone involved.
You live in a rabbit hutch.
Yeah.
essentially.
You live in
Yeah,
this
yeah,
little
yeah.
box. You live
And this is in Britain, people like flexing. You know, they've got their
Yeah.
new Barrett home where the third bedroom is like basically an upright coffin.
Yeah.
They've
they
got
go-
the ice white Audi A3.
I can have my washing machine next to my dishwasher instead of on top of it.
See, this is how I know you guys are full of shit. I would kill for a laundry machine or a dishwasher.
Oh, where do you,
Oh,
where, do you- where
yeah.
you from
That's
again?
True, yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
Oh, they're tightly cramped.
Yeah, that's true. You guys have that weird garbage chute compression.
Yeah. I think like
Yeah.
I'm about to enter whatever my next apartment. I think I'll have a laundry machine properly.
Yeah.
But
I keep seeing that guy doing the videos of can I see inside your house, and they're so proud of how much they're paying, and you're like, that's crazy. It's like a bed. It's like the bed is and this is the living room area. It's like it's the sofa next to the bed.
yeah,
It's like within 1 meter of the bed.
it's
It's like I like to
true.
come here and relax. This is my safe space. I'm just like this is my panic space.
I went to Los Angeles for a couple months with my girlfriend, and it was the first time we could have company over. Period. We would never have company over. in
Yeah,
our
yeah,
place.
yeah.
Just we had one person over, and you're like, hey, sorry.
One of us is going to
Can I
have to
get by you
stand.
real
Yeah.
quick?
You need to serve yourself the food because you're in the bit where the things.
Well,
are
I hope you haven't brought any laundry with you because you're barking up the
news.
wrong tree, pal.
Oh no, you brought your dishes. Oh no.
Yeah, the laundromat thing, right? That's much more the thing.
Yeah, but I haven't had a dishwasher my
Yeah.
whole adult life.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
unfathomable to me.
I would say to be fair,
That's
the first
uncommon in
3
London
flats.
flats.
I lived in London didn't have a dishwasher.
Yeah.
Then it'd have to
And
be
you
like a
can
modern
get small dishwashers.
You can get some small efficient fucking Prussian dishwasher, sure.
Yeah.
But they just won't do it.
My ex used to live with her like best friend from school, and they rented a flat from her best friend's parents.
Yeah.
And it was so funny to me how like I mean, landlords are scum, as we know. But what I find fascinating is the tenant relationship is so powerful that it overpowers the parent-child relationship. Like, as soon as she started renting a flat, she became a tenant spiritually. And whatever they asked them to do on the flat, they were like, no, fuck off, we're not doing that. For you scum. And they're just all like forgetting that it's like their daughter and her best friend who they've known since she was 5. And they're just like, no, not doing it. And then like, for ages, they were lobbying to get a dishwasher and they were like, no, you'll only break it. And it's like, what? Like, literally just by, like, I've gone from now because I'm a tenant, you're actually fully, like, you're being consistent. You're treating me exactly as you would treat any other tenant. And I was like,
I think
wow.
it's like, you know how power corrupts, absolute power corrupts, absolutely. I feel like with being a landlord, you can't help but eventually look at your tenants like leeches.
Yeah.
They keep existing every second of the day.
I let this burglar live in my house now. And he has the nerve to demand electricity from me.
this square foot thief taking my space. I have to dole out space like a Roman dignitary to my clients.
I think landlords, I think my theory is they have to live in the building with their tenants. They need to have like a relationship to see them physically. I think they have to operate under the same water system, the same electricity system.
Yes.
If the tenant has mice, they have mice. That's the only way. If it's separate from you, it's too easy.
Like biblical justice.
It's got to be either.
But then that's tough as well, because then you've got a situation in which the landlord's like, I actually have always liked mice. I've actually, I once stayed with a guy. He was in Glasgow as a friend of mine. And I was doing a show up there, and I was like, "Can I stay at yours?" He was like, "Absolutely." And then I got to outside
immediate red flag.
I was like, "Okay." Got there outside the door. He was like, "Oh, you don't mind rats, do you?"
What a
I was like,
well, start.
I was like, "Well, I guess I have to." It's 1 a.m. I'm in Glasgow. I don't know anyone.
Yeah.
So I said, "Yeah." Guy had rats all over his fucking house.
Well, like
man.
not pet ones, like wild.
They were
rats.
pet rats, but but it's just like
different.
But it.
Yeah, but how do you know when there's a wild one? You're like,
I don't know what I don't know. His
pet
rats.
rats. He's like, no, only 3.
And there was one in my room. He didn't even tell me about the rat. In
That's
there.
horrendous.
So they're loose?
Your pet rats are being
No, I
threatened with a
couldn't-
razor blade by a street rat, and you're like, get out of here.
He'd done it so there were like pipes into each room, so the rats could travel between rooms.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
So he'd like ratatouille his own house.
Yeah, he had. Yeah. He made me brush my teeth. One of the rats.
It was like Walton Gromit machines powered by the rat.
Yeah, I saw a mouse. I just remembering now as you bring it, I saw a mouse at the theater last night.
Yes.
And I forgot to tell them.
They know.
They know.
They don't
They
care.
know about the rat. They know about.
Have you
the
seen the
rat.
tube mice?
No, but
Let-
there's no way they're
very
come
sweet.
close to the subway rat.
No,
they're
they're not. They're tiny, cute little brown mice. They're like
They're
this
really
big.
cute.
Oh my
With-
God.
This
They're
big
really
with long
sweet.
tails.
They're
If you
really
take
sweet.
the tube late enough at night, so there's not that many humans around, you'll see like 11 sort of
Really?
scrubbling around. Yeah.
Are they like, are you like, hey, little mousey?
They're
Are you-
quite shy, yeah.
You won't get near them,
Yeah.
but they're very sweet.
They're very fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are. They are.
They're the
quick.
size of like a thumb, They're so
Yeah,
small.
yeah.
That should be what they do in New York because they're always trying to kill the rats. It's impossible.
Yeah.
So maybe you just
What do you mean
try
it's
to,
impossible?
I mean,
Like
they're
They keep
still there.
They keep fucking.
They keep fucking.
Okay.
You've got guns.
Oh, you mean you
Come
can't?
on.
I'm saying
Yeah.
instead
Put
of
'em to
trying to
use.
kill them,
arm the hobos.
Oh, some of them are already armed, as I've discovered. I've been threatened with a razor blade on the subway. Oh, yeah.
But what do they do? What is the process called where you I guess it's eugenics. You make them, let's instead of getting rid of the rats, just start like making them a little smaller. And
Yes,
cuter,
yeah.
And then, the same way we did with wolves to
Getting
dogs.
waggy tails.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys
Train
ever
them.
heard this, but growing up in the countryside, they always say if you have mice, you don't have rats.
Really?
There's something about
Are
it.
they enemies?
Well, I don't know. You just don't have them both in one place. I guess because if a rat would just eat a mouse, right? Like immediately.
Yeah.
I
Well,
guess
and
so.
mice are
Well,
quite.
why aren't
like-
there just rats everywhere?
I know it's
the
strange.
mice would be
There should
done.
be rats on the tube.
I
By,
feel
by,
like you don't
by
get rats in
justice.
the country, but you do get mice in the country.
Every now and then you get a fat old country rat.
Yeah,
But-
my house is on the edge of the city, and I had mice for the first time.
Yeah.
We've had that house for like 20 years, and I had mice for the first time in the winter. I think just because it was cold.
Yeah, they come in.
And then the advice with mice is insane. They're like, oh well, just find any hole that a mouse can squeeze through, which is anything as big as a 50p piece, and just block it. And it's like, okay, so that's impossible.
Yeah.
And then it's like option 2, and then my girlfriend's like freaking out about the mice, but then she's like, but you have to get the humane traps, and I'm immediately like, I don't think the humane traps are going to cut it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so put out the humane traps. One of the mice manages to eat the bait out of the humane trap without becoming trapped in it. And I was genuinely like,
now you're in a cartoon.
if you shrank me down to the size of a mouse, I could not do this. I genuinely don't understand. and I have human intelligence. Like, I do not know how this mouse did that.
It got like a toothpick, propping it up.
Yeah. This mouse had a
Darting
fucking
in and
like
out.
balaclava and black gloves on, like sneaking in to get the dark chocolate out of the trap. Eventually, I managed to catch 2 mice in the humane traps, and then what they don't tell you about the humane traps is then you've just got a mouse. You've got a tenant.
I had to take. You had to go. I walked like to the park, and you walk far enough away, and then you open it, and they don't leave, and then you gotta like. It's a nightmare.
They've got Stockholm syndrome. Yeah, I had to dry them over. I released them at the crematorium. It was the only place I could think of.
Jesus.
Like, go be
Burrowing
amongst
into
the
the
dead.
coffin.
They give you a little dime bag of ashes.
Yeah. But then it was really funny because then my now ex-girlfriend, she was going like, oh, well, we got to go and release the mouse somewhere. And she's like, oh, but they can get a bit disorientated when you release them out in the wild. And I'm like, but that's where they fucking came from.
Yeah.
I'm just putting them, this is back to square one for them. This
Also,
isn't like,
you hate the mice.
yeah.
You
they
hate
didn't-
them.
They didn't grow up in my house. She's like, no, I've been reading about it. What we need to do is like bring it some food and make it a little nest. And I'm like, I can't have a rodent making demands.
Mice
I'm like, this
nest.
is too far. Yeah.
That's what you're supposed to support this mouse's life.
She
within your
insisted
home.
she brought a little Tupperware of like cereal stuff she figured out that it would
fucked.
eat. She brings
Get
it, she
fucked.
tips it out on the
No.
ground, the mouse immediately runs off.
This is the least.
No interest.
This is the least Western I've ever felt. Hearing this. This is the most from Africa I've ever felt in my life. Why is that thing alive? Oh, I opened the cage and it wouldn't come out the nice cage. Fling it into a hedge 100 miles from where you live. It doesn't matter. But
It doesn't matter.
the UK is
you kill
completely.
actual people who break into your fucking land.
Everyone's
like
being
this,
killed constantly.
yeah.
It's a genocide.
I killed my neighbor the other day.
Yeah.
I can't kill his mouse.
Yeah, I had a humane neighbor trap. That didn't work.
Jesus.
But
Yeah.
the thing is like this country is completely in the fucking grip of that Mrs. Tiggy Winkle Victorian idea that all animals are friends, and if you like Peter Rabbit will have a cup of tea with Mrs. Hedgehog. That's why Darwin was controversial initially. It wasn't because of evolution. It was because he said all those noises the birds make are them either saying "fuck me" or "I'm starving to death." Like all their noises are about starving to death or not having sex enough.
And none of them were Jesus Christ is my Lord and Savior.
No, exactly. None of them are saying "I thank the Lord for the sunrise today."
I mean, I love going back to like Descartes, where his whole idea was he's like animals don't have souls,
They're like clockwork.
and it's like I mean, it is because it's like
Yeah.
that's the only way we can make this whole like
Thing work.
morality system work. Like,
Yeah.
that doesn't,
Especially
it
if you're
doesn't feel
French.
Yeah.
You need a philosopher like running that kind of cover while you're drowning a songbird in brandy, covering yourself with a handkerchief so you can swallow it whole.
Stuffing-
Stuffing
Yeah.
a goose with berries
Well,
to
it's-
make it fat.
Stuffing a
Like
wine
Jabba the
vat
Hutt.
filled with geese and just stomping it through a pate filter at the bottom of the vat.
Can I tell you this?
The whole village.
I did a walking tour. I went to Europe when I was like 21. I did like hostels around Europe, and I went on this walking tour. And just tell me if you think this guy was just making up a story for a gullible young American,
Okay.
or if you think it's real. And I'm pretty sure it was Germany. He basically said that pre World War I, at some point, that there was a place where you could go there. Sorry to share this. You pick out a goose.
Mhm.
I already think it's true.
I know, but it goes
Yeah.
further. It goes further than you think.
All right.
You fuck the goose. You knew that part. You fuck the goose. But while you're
That
fucking
just
it,
makes your teeth perfectly straight.
when you're ready to come, you signal to the chef or the busboy or whatever they called it back then,
Mhm.
and he would slit the goose's throat because the spasms of the goose's dying breaths were pleasurable. You know, like a little vibrator.
Right. Okay.
Right.
And then creme de la creme. To not waste, they would then cook the goose, and
Yeah.
you would get to eat it for dinner.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
get but stuffed with your own cum.
Get to.
Yeah, I mean, part of me goes, they must have scooped out.
Have you heard of Boris Johnson?
Yeah. or you using a Johnny. I'm not an animal. I'm not going
Yeah,
to fuck the goose raw.
I don't
Who
want-
knows what it might
I
have?
don't want goose flu.
Yeah, no. That's how bird flu came. German guys fucking geese.
I think that's true.
Do birds have vaginas?
Yeah.
They have a cloaca.
But like, is that
No, I thought
it's not gonna work?
Oh, they all have cloacas?
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
Because like presumably
All birds.
we're getting really. I don't think
mean
it's
all
true for
gooses,
this
like
reason.
some gooses have a dick and some have a cloaca.
Yeah. A
But, like,
gander.
The 3 genders of goose.
Yeah.
One could a human penis fit?
Would that be, surely that's killing the goose.
You think so?
It's not designed for that.
And also, do you want
No.
to? Like, so like, there were enough people interested in bestiality
So there
in
were-
pre-World War I Germany.
Sure.
What is
to,
it?
like,
When I went-
There was
maintain
nothing
a
else to
market.
do. Come
when I
on.
went to Hamburg, again, I'm 21, and whenever I would go to a new city, not like in London, but usually other cities, I go to like the porn store, the sex store, because I was so curious. And I remember in Hamburg, there was a wall of bestiality VHSs.
Yeah.
And
What?
it's the only time in life that I've seen something, like a cover of one of these things, that I felt like I was going to throw up in the store. It was so, it's that word where you go, this is, it made me feel religious in the sense that I was like, this is not what God intended.
Yeah, I should be eating that thing. That's for eating.
yeah.
But
And you've
also,
ruined
imagine opening the
goose.
first day of opening that goose shop. Being like, do you think when do you think it's gonna get busy?
It'd be like one of those. It'd be like one of those restaurants. Where you go, is it your first time with us?
Yeah,
We do things a little differently here.
No, I think it's more that I just more.
It's Nando's.
He was
You gotta
competing with
queue.
another.
You gotta
There was
queue
another
up.
goose shop across the way that was competing with them, and they just cooked goose. That was it. And then they're like, God, how do we get an edge?
And then so
What
when
can
you're
we
ready to
offer
come,
that no
just
one else
beckon
is
me
offering?
over. And
Well,
press
we
the
know
little
what
button
people
on the
like doing
table.
as well. People also like fucking. They like eating and they like
Sex
fucking.
sells.
Yeah,
I'm telling
yeah,
you,
yeah.
sex
Do you think,
sells.
would you think it was like how in medieval times every village would have its own thing? Where it's like, in our village we are famous for the little crafts, the wooden carvings. Yeah, okay, and in our village we make the beer. And they're just like, well, there wasn't enough resources. Like,
Yeah.
all we had was a lot of geese, so we did our best.
Yeah.
I don't think it's true just because I think Germany is the kind of country where unless you really are specifically after a goose, I'm sure there's more than enough opportunities to pay for something freaky to happen to you.
Does it seem this story? Because I swear to God, every time I tell it, I always feel like people are gonna go, "You're making this up." And I swear to God, this was told to me. Do you think that a place that did this could have existed at some point in human history?
I think someone's done this.
I'm sure of that.
I don't think an establishment existed.
I don't think it's in the phone book.
You know, what about a chain?
a chain.
A chain.
Yeah.
Is that where goose stepping came
Goose
from?
bus?
Maybe there's a goose place, but there's like a back room, and they're like, it goes, can I
Like,
get
you know,
that?
when you go to In-N-Out Burger in
Yeah.
Los Angeles, you order like the special
menu,
off-
Yeah.
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 Or fucking a goose.
Do you think
Do
it
you
was
want to fuck
customer?
the goose or just eat it?
Do you think it was customer driven? Like the waiter was in the goose restaurant and was like, or someone's in the goose restaurant says to the waiter, "Can I?
How do you like your goose? I'd like it full of my own cum, please.
Can I fuck it?"
Can I ask what you do with the cloacas?
Yeah.
Well, we just
An
scoop it all
unspoiled
out.
That was a
Cloaca.
Louis C.K. bit. You were talking about scooping a barrel full of like duck vaginas, and he's like, "Has anything ever said a dominance over another species?" Then like, you just collect these vaginas with a scoop. Man,
Maybe they were. I don't know. I think the guy who told you believed it.
Yeah, I
That's
believe
something
that too.
that's worth saying. I think the guy that told you believed he was telling you a true thing.
okay.
I don't think he was trying to screw with you in that sense.
That's
I think
awful,
he
'cause
believed
he
it.
led the walking tour.
But I
I
think-
didn't trust anything he said.
But I think he was like, he wanted to believe in it so bad. He was like, has anyone else heard about this?
Does anyone know where this place is? Do they still take reservations?
Part of me is like, I also did so many walking tours. Like, I think it was Germany. Could have been the Vatican. I did a walking tour there.
I believe that more.
Yeah. They'd
Yeah.
fuck a goose in there.
100%.
Germany, I don't know.
for sure.
Germany, I believe more than almost any other. I can't really think.
Just
of
because of
another.
the goose? It's just because of anything goose related, like it's German, man.
No, because other horrible crimes have happened there too.
Yeah, and also they've got
Yeah.
such a weird, like when you grow up in the UK, the idea of Germany is this like the land of weird fetishes. It's this national reputation of it.
But when did that start?
I
Was
think
that forever?
With the goose thing, probably.
I don't know.
I mean, the goose, isn't that what do they call it? Goose walk.
Yeah.
That's the.
the goose
Oh,
stepping.
the
Yeah,
goose
yeah,
stepping.
yeah.
yeah.
That's because of how much you lift your legs after you've had a really good fucking of a dying goose. You just
That's how the
Yeah,
goose
yeah,
walks.
you just feel so great. You walk like that.
That
You're
operation
trying to
would be
loosen yourself up.
Every time you're in a good mood, you're like, oh God.
Oh no.
that would be so much setup for even that. You know, where do you even start? Do you start at the table? Do you know what I mean? It's like where do you? It's just a nightmare. The whole
Yeah.
thing is a nightmare. To kill the
You're right, let's not
the
do it.
staff. Let's not do it. I don't want to go anymore.
Let's not
Talking
do
about
it.
seeing
When
your
you
friends
said it,
do
it
What
was
if you,
like,
what if
what-
you bring a friend? Hey, you want to split a goose?
Yeah, the
I don't want the weekend.
You're
Yeah.
splitting between 8 people. The waiter's like, okay.
Now I've
all
got
right.
Taking out like an apple core.
Now I've got to train the goose to sort of feather around the dicks around the side.
Yeah.
Or in
Oh,
France,
there's
you
4 of
Eiffel
you.
Tower the goose.
How deeply unpleasant. What
But
unpleasant
But I
conversation.
think like, Berlin in the 20s had like sex clubs and drag shows, and like it was always like that.
Mm.
Always.
No need to bring
That's
drag
the most
into
like
this.
Tory thing you've
No,
ever
start
said.
with
It's a
drag
slippery
queens.
slope to fucking a goose.
Yeah.
But this is like, like Spring Awakening. So this must be happening like in that universe.
Can you imagine they're all one guy's like, I think I might be gay. It's like, okay, good. That's weird.
That's bad.
just fucked a goose.
Wait till
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
my
It was a woman goose, though. I
Yeah.
promise that.
Yeah, and everyone goes, oh, phew, okay, all right.
After the boy's funeral, they'll go and fuck a goose.
But it's like it was a thing with all cities. Like you read like Down and Out in Paris and London, and in Paris there's like a snuff place where like the implication is that they let them just like sometimes kill the person. Like it's always in
Oh my
like
God,
a
what do
big
you
city.
mean?
Yeah. There's
What
like
do you mean?
implication that this madam knowingly let one of her more sinister clients just like murder a fucking transient.
You get to use the neighbor trap.
Yeah, you get to finally use the neighbor.
We
trap.
got to put a stop to this. Let's call the authorities.
A bit late, to be fair.
It's like Taken, you know.
Yeah.
That was
I
a
love the
documentary.
idea of the humane neighbor trap. Like you
You
just,
mean neighbor trap?
you just put like a couple of cans of Stella in there, and then you just come out, and your neighbor's just encased in perspex in your garage. You're like, Greg.
But it's for a neighbor, so it would have to be like a hammer or a tool that they kept wanting to borrow.
Sugar.
Oh, yeah. Cup of sugar.
Yeah. Cup of
Their
sugar.
ASOS parcel.
Yeah. Their own
Yeah.
their own parcel.
You've become addicted to parcels, haven't you, Greg?
This is
This will
annoying.
teach you a lesson.
You didn't know what happened to my trainers, did you, Greg?
Yeah.
And yet here you are in the neighbor trap.
Stop putting me down as your preferred collection point. Do
Don't
number
worry, Greg.
9.
The gas isn't lethal. But you will not find the experience unchanged.
No, I think Germany is a deserved reputation as the land of bizarre fetishes.
I'm planning on going to the Kit Kat Club,
Fun.
Oh,
which
okay.
is like the sex
Oh, don't.
dungeon.
It's bad.
It's bad.
Oh, yeah. I
But
went.
is it bad
Have I
don't
told
go
this
or is
story?
it bad go?
Have I told this story on the podcast? If you want to, like,
believe
okay, so we
So
went
they
to
have
the
this goose.
We went to the Kit Kat Club. Yeah, that's right. Okay, honestly,
So we're all
if they'd
hungry
have handed
and
me a
horny.
goose, I'd have been like,
and-
that is commitment
There was a
to the vibe.
delicious smell.
Of roasting. Imagine you get to have roast goose after when you're done shagging.
So
you're
heavy.
just like,
Such a heavy meal.
yeah.
I actually
You
kind
couldn't
of-
have it before. You'd have to have it after.
You've done a lot of athletic sex, and now it's time to sit down to a fucking Sunday Christmas.
Athletic, how many positions you put
Yeah.
in this? I
At
think
this club.
Oh,
With
I
a
don't mean
bunch
with
of-
the goose. I just
I
mean
thought you were.
no,
with
no.
a
You
bunch
do a
of
bunch
blokes in latex who are all just, I mean, great, wipe clean.
It takes so
Perfect for a big old goose.
Everyone's wearing bibs, really, in a way.
That's
How
what
long
they're
does it
dressed
take
for.
to cook a goose?
Same as a chicken, I guess.
A long time.
No,
Did
it's
it wait
longer.
around? Did it wait around?
And it's more
Longer
like a
than it takes to
turkey.
fuck them. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
6 hours. Yeah, they have to. I had to get up at 3 a.m. to put the goose in.
It's like you need
Yeah.
to see the Harry Potter plays. You got to wait for the next day for the next one. You know, you gotta.
You're right. It's exactly like the
Yeah,
Harry
yeah.
Potter.
It's just like the Harry Potter.
An old German proverb. Like, it's quicker to fuck a goose than it is to cook it.
than to roast it.
Yeah.
I guess that is true.
Mm.
So hang on, you went
So,
to this
yeah,
place.
we went to this place.
Where is
and
this place? What is it?
It's in Berlin, and it's like a sex club basically. But
Yeah.
Cat Club.
it's notionally like a kind of like it's not explicitly a gay sex club.
Sure.
Which I think most of the sex clubs in Berlin are. But I would say that it's overridingly gay in there.
Sure.
Um,
It's voted itself. The community votes it to be
Yeah.
more like that by who shows up.
Yeah. But anyway, and then I remember it was like fucked vibes, but we just went in and I saw one of the first things I saw was a group of men who were all taking turns sucking each other off. But they were like stood in a circle. They were like naked except they were wearing shoes.
Sure.
And
Very German. Very sensible.
hate
By the way,
that.
just so you know, at this point in the story, I'm absolutely going. This is fascinating. Well, I showered with the 3 guys.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
now
yeah,
it's
yeah.
time to
It's
move
a
on.
pattern of
Well,
escalation.
let me tell you,
If you
it
didn't
gets
like
better.
those 3 guys,
Because what was
if
really
they were sucking me off, then this would be normal.
if
but
it was just like, 5, 6 guys sucking each other off, that wouldn't particularly have piqued my interest. But none of them were like squatting or taking a knee to do this. They were all hinging at the waist
No.
one by one. You know, like the drinking bird desk toy. And like I said, it was just going round the circle with each one kind of going like, oh, like that. And then,
Okay,
yeah.
question.
Wait, so they're going like one slurp, move like
I
a
think
clock?
they were maybe doing a couple of sucks, but it was sort of going round the circle like.
And the guy is literally like shifting.
Wait, I have a question. Yeah, I have a question. Is it one guy does everyone, and then the next guy does?
No,
everyone?
they're all doing the guy next to them, but they're doing it sort of like one at a time.
McDominoes.
Like
Mexican
dominoes,
wave.
exactly.
Mexican wave.
Yeah, the Mexican blowjob.
The Mexican blow.
Mexican blow. I mean, there's a lot of that.
That's
doing
crazy.
around. Yeah, it was one of the most insane things I've ever seen.
was
To the
so
point where it
funny.
now almost feels not real, even though I
I'm
witnessed it with my own eyes.
I'm picturing 5 or 6 guys who all look the same as well. I'm picturing them as like looking identical.
It doesn't sound sexy at all now.
Yeah, well, I guess
It sounds like the least erotic thing. It just sounds so German, quite honestly, to be like, and then one for you, and then one for you.
Well, in America,
America,
it feels like the kinky, like in America, a lot of the kinky polyamorous friends, they're kind of nerdy.
Yes.
There's like a
Yeah.
nerdiness to it where
Yeah.
sometimes it feels like, I'm like, how much fucking are you guys actually doing and how much are you like talking about it? How much like, are you sucking each other off to completion? How much are you like, ooh, what if we all took a turn and made a circle out of it?
Yeah. Like, shit, no one's going to come that way. You're going to be
did someone come
back to square
eventually?
one by the time it gets back round to you.
What happened? I mean, so they're going a couple sucks.
I think we moved on pretty quickly, so I'm not quite sure how it all ended up. We didn't wait for the goose to come out.
This
That's
sounds
mad.
so interesting.
It was insane.
What do
it
we
was
have
also
to wear? How dressy do I have to be?
Just
I
bring
remember
your
we went
shoes.
out-
Yeah, I think you have to be undressed.
Don't forget your shoes, otherwise be like, this guy's weird, man. This guy's
It's kind of
no feet stuff.
he's sucking me off, stood up, but he's got no shoes.
well,
on.
so the
It's
funny thing
weird.
about the Kit Kat Club is the bouncer will make adjustments to your outfit if they think it's not adequate. And so for most men, he was just telling them to take their trousers off. So it's also insane. You're just wandering around there just like in your boxer shorts, which is like, it's
cannot
worse
wait
than
to
being
go
naked,
into this.
actually.
I'm so
There's something-
excited.
I think
Yeah,
risky
yeah.
business. That's
Yeah,
like-
yeah. It's not sexy.
That's
It's
so
not sexy
funny.
at all.
Walter White.
Just wearing like Paul Smith boxer shorts.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
like,
yeah.
Mm.
kind of
Men are
loose.
sexier when they're like somewhat dressed. I think they're like wandering around in your pants. You just look like you've got up in the
Yeah,
night
with
for a
our
piss.
bodies,
Like
you
women
say.
wandering around in their pants is hot, but like men wandering around in their pants, you're like, this doesn't look right.
If you wander
need a
around in
wee.
your pants, it looks like you've come downstairs to discover that some burglars have set up a sex club.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? Hey, get out of here.
Hair kind of ruffled.
Yeah.
Two guys sucking each other off in the neighbor trap. They're like, well, as we're stuck in here.
That's not what this is for. I don't think you're being talked out of this.
No,
No.
I'm more in. Now
Yeah.
I got to make sure. I just want to make sure I show up because I didn't bring a lot of clothes with me.
Okay.
But like,
Well, that's great.
perfect.
But yeah.
but like,
Just shoot.
Can you imagine being? He goes, how come you're here? Oh, I just I packed like 2 t-shirts. and I'm here for
No
3 days.
other-
And I'm here for
no
3
other
days.
establishment will
so,
let me in.
Yeah, I can't go to the cinema.
Yeah. They're all like no shirt, no shoes, no service, but not the Kit Kat Club. It's
I
the
love
opposite.
that. It's just interesting. Like I went to Amsterdam
Yeah.
when I was 20 or 21. I went to like a sex show, and no, it's a good no, but it's fascinating.
They are bleak.
Yeah,
I
you
would-
have to. It's something to take in.
Yeah.
Like it's not something where you go, "Wow, I have a new favorite genre of live show."
Yeah. Yeah. Imagine that.
you like musical
Netflix
theater?
presents-
Yeah.
Me too. Similarly.
I'd love.
Yeah.
I want to do a show in the round now.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's nice. That'd
Oh,
be
it went in the
interesting.
round. Don't worry about
yeah.
that.
Oh yeah.
But the idea of just being like, God, I can't. Like, I've seen the Rolling Stones. I've seen anything in the West End, Broadway. Nothing for me compares now to the spectacle.
Because you think about how much of like whether it's a strip club or like even like something that's like trying to be sexy, so much is like,
Yeah.
oh, what's under here? Like, oh my God, I want to see those tits, and then
Yeah,
and then
yeah,
it's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
and now I saw it.
Yeah.
And there's no much.
Yeah.
I saw it all. There was nothing else that could have
and
occurred.
it was the end. That was the end of it.
That was the end of it.
Yeah. There's very rarely a twist
But
at the
I
end of
saw-
a strip show.
I saw.
They put on their clothes.
Well, if you've been to I've been to a proper ping pong show in Thailand.
Yeah.
I would.
It's crazy how talented those people were. Because I came in and the first thing they did was the ping pong stuff.
Oh, really?
And I was like,
You thought they would be
I thought
building
this
up
was
to
the
that.
finale. No, they started with it, and then she would get on the table, and then she would put it into a cup. It would bounce twice, and then into a cup,
Jesus.
and then she would do it 4 times in a row. I was like, I can't even do this with my hands. Roger Federer can do this with his hands. Do you know what I mean?
Is that when you see people who have some kind of like lifelong disability and they're like amazing, like, they can use a knife and fork with their feet or whatever?
Yeah, somebody who's
without arms.
painting a foot. Yeah.
But then you're just like, this woman's incredibly dexterous
But
with her
it's like
vagina.
this would-
like she
this
can do
would-
anything. She can drive a car with it.
Yeah.
If this was Blur, this would be on Britain's Got Talent. Another one. She put a pen. She put a pen up her.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right, and then she's
Sure.
like, there's like paper on the table, and then she squats and she's like doing the thing. You can't quite see it because it's done. She comes up. It's a caricature of the guy in the front row. She gives it to him. She's like,
A caricature
of the guy in the front row. Absolutely. I was like, this is incredible.
If I put a pen in my asshole, I'd be like, it's almost a circle.
yeah. That would still be pretty impressive.
I hit the paper. It was honestly, it was incredible. Some of the things they were doing with their
love
pussies.
you're talking about it like a
but it was
night at the
incredible.
opera.
But there was a bit where we like
in white tie, like bravo.
I
little
was-
binoculars.
But we were there. So this girl, she got a Coke can. She opens it up inside her. So we're like, okay, so there's something. There's something in her. She puts up. She goes upside down, so it's like slowly pours out, and she's like, you can see it. She's like stopping it at the right time. She's stopping it, and then she's walking about, and everyone's like, wow. She puts it back up, and it's clear it comes out, and we were going,
What? She's like filtered it.
Yeah. And then I turned to. We'd made friends with a couple who were there.
Sure.
And I was like, because we were like 18 at the time. So we don't know anything about vaginas. And she was she's like, I don't think I know anything about vaginas either. How the fuck does that even work?
She's
It's
unlocked
a
a new part of
complete
the body.
magic
You think
trick.
it's like if I were to like store water in this cheek, like she like has found two different.
Yeah, maybe there's like two balloons up there. So I don't know. I don't know.
sure.
Or whatever.
Did she absorb all the sugar and color from the Coca-Cola?
Well, think about all the ways magicians have to do sleight of hands with their sleeves and their hands. Imagine the world that would open up to them if they could use their pussy. And ass.
Yeah,
for sure.
Just a whole new genres of tricks we've never even thought about.
This guy is this person is the leading sleight of pussy magician.
You know those magicians that like reveal all the secrets?
Yeah.
And every trick is like, and then he puts it up his bum.
yeah.
It would be very funny to watch Penn and Teller and just be like, it was in our anus. It was in my anus. That's
They
why.
do that show where they have to figure out how it is, and then every time they're just like conferring, they're like,
It was his butthole.
"Is it in the butt?" He's like, "It isn't."
It is in my
It is
Where
every
did they
single
make that
time.
elephant
Actually,
go?
quite frankly.
That's why he doesn't talk. The other one. If he talks, it's going to come out.
Getting rushed to hospital at the end of every one of my Vegas magic shows.
Yeah.
You can't keep doing this, sir. Your ass won't withstand it. The people need me.
People need a bit of magic in their lives. Isn't that worth 7 enemas a day? 9 on Saturdays with the 2 shows of the matinee.
But I was
That beluga whale almost killed you, Penn. And the 10 men you needed in there to keep hosing it down to keep it alive. It was
Having an anus or a vagina so tight you can do the cutting someone in half trick, but it's with that.
Jesus,
them
cinching them off.
like a guillotine.
You get them half up there and then snip.
As you can see, my glamorous assistant is half in my ass.
There's the prestige, the very different,
yeah.
tricky end to the. My assistant died.
Yeah.
Oh no, how?
David
You don't
Bowie
wanna-
was in my
you don't wanna
butthole.
see.
That is the
Our Christian
secret
Bale's
of
arse.
No, I never had to do warm up comedy, but I'm always fascinated by it because I'm like, it's a skill. It's 100% skill. Even
I love
to know how to
warm-up.
go. You guys, and I don't have it. If I ever had to do it, I'd have to study it, and you have to like get over that anxiousness.
Yeah.
But you know, even just to be like this side, go against that side. It's all these little games.
Yeah.
And I've seen bad warm up comics. I did a TV show. It was a multicam where there was an audience watching. It was a terrible experience. But, like the warm up comic was just sad. And he just was like, he was doing mean crowd work and like being like, oh, you guys.
Nice fucking hat.
Yeah, nice fucking hat. And I was just like, what is going on?
These tickets were free.
He kept talking about his wife being fat. And I was just like, it was just like not. It was just like, what?